Okay.
I, I asked him if our positions were reversed, how he'd feel, and he said that he would trust me, like, fully, and I'm just like, it's not that I don't trust you. Like, what I'm feeling isn't about trust.
Okay. If it's not about trust, what's it about?
Fear,
Okay. Fear is natural.
because there is this huge part of me that is terrified of losing him. That's terrified that one day he's gonna wake up and say, you know what? Yeah, no, this is a mistake.
Has he given you any sign that he would ever say that to you?
No.
Okay. Um,
I mean, there's been a couple times recently when he's asked me, do you think I don't love you? And then today with, do you not trust me? And that doesn't make me feel good to be asked.
sure, but that isn't I want to leave you or I don't want to do this anymore or I think we've made a mistake. That is just probably reaffirming his own fears that you may not trust him. I don't think it has anything to do with questioning your dedication to him.
If I didn't trust him, I wouldn't be wearing that cut and I wouldn't be wearing this ring. If I didn't
Exactly.
love him, I wouldn't be wearing that cut and I wouldn't be wearing this ring.
So, yeah, there's that. I think that more than anything um definitely shows it's his fear driving those questions, given what you have essentially put in his hands, uh, meaning your life, at the end of the day, right? So he is also exhibiting fear, just how you are, and it's just manifesting in different ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also sounds to me like you guys are communicating. Um, Maybe not all the way in your case yet because you're not quite sure what to say or if you even should say something, but you are talking about these things. Um, he's told you what's happening. You've told him, that you trust him. You're having discussions about it. It's not like it's something that that's being kept from each other. Um, and not to say you didn't always communicate, but I know there was a time where you were feeling like uh, it was hard to bring up things with him and have him understand. And I know from what I've seen and how you've talked that you guys have come leaps and bounds from that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, great. So at baseline, we have that, there's not a pattern of him being deceitful about this. He's been open about it. You've admitted how, it might make you a little uncomfortable. You're obviously got some fear there. He's got some fear with it all. So I think overall you guys are acting in healthy adult ways. I guess the question is, perfect world, what would you like to see happen?
In a perfect world, this never fucking happened, dude.
Okay, but it has. So we're living in a world where it has, but we're coming to, in a perfect world, what would be the resolution?
I want to be able to trust her.
Okay. Um, is there a path for you that leads to her trust?
I don't know because I don't think she knows that I know.
Um, do you think she should know that?
I think it makes things exceptionally more complicated if she does.
Complicated or clear?
I don't know.
Okay. What do you think the complication is?
I don't. I don't want her to think that I hate her.
Okay, well, luckily, there are words for that, right? They kind of go, I don't hate you. That's a start.
I don't know. It's just hard for me to feel comfortable with her being. It's hard for me to feel comfortable, and I hate it.
Um, when did you find out about this?
Um, I think it was the day you and I had that talk on the beach, where you
Okay,
mentioned this stuff about like honey and darling and stuff. Mason told me later
gotcha,
that night.
gotcha. Okay. Um, do you feel like he has made an attempt to change any behavior towards her, or make things clear on his end that, hey, this is not a thing, it never will be a thing, anything like that?
I would like to think so, but like I'm never really around them when they're together.
Okay, but did he say he did?
Gonna be so for real. We haven't really talked about it too much.
Okay, do you want to?
I just want to move on from it, you know?
Sure, but can you move on without having that discussion?
I don't know. I think there was an attempt at having it tonight. But like he's also not in a headspace to have these kinds of discussions right now, dude.
Okay, well, again, it's human, and it's very generous of you to recognize that. Um, but are you in a headspace to continue not having the conversation?
I'll get through.
What'd you say?
I said I'll get through.
That's not the question I asked you, V.
I'm scared. I'm scared to even have the conversation because I'm scared that I'm just gonna get mad. Because if I get mad, and I'm gonna hurt somebody. And I don't want to hurt her, dude.
Okay. Well, there are preventative measures that can be done to keep that from happening. Right? Like, we can make sure you have no weapons. We can make sure somebody takes her and does something with her not in Chumash, or so she's not readily available after a conversation you have with Mason. There are ways to, keep you and her safe, right? Just takes a little bit of, preparation. Just like anything y'all do. A little bit of foresight, a little bit of seeing what could go on. Generally, things go off without a hitch if you do that. Now, do you think it's wrong to be mad?
I think I'm entitled to feel upset. Because, like, this chick who, for all intents and purposes, came out of nowhere, shows up and suddenly has feelings for the person I'm going to be marrying, who I've been with for so long now. But it's like at the same time, we're human, and I get that. And yeah, he's a really fucking great guy. Trust me. I can understand why someone would catch feelings for him. I just really hate feeling. I hate feeling like this. I hate feeling like I'm so out of control.
V, can I point something out? You recognize what you felt. You recognize it could be a problem. You reached out to somebody you trusted. You asked for help. You're trying to deal with it, and you're trying to come up with a plan. Now, from an outside perspective, does that look like somebody that's not in control? Or does that look like somebody in control?
Looks like it's someone who's in control.
Okay, so let's stop with this narrative that you aren't in control. You're emotional, yes, but having emotions doesn't mean you're out of control. Just means you've got feelings. It's human. So give yourself some credit here. You're doing the right things. Keep going.
I just wish I had a fucking time machine.
Okay, what would a time machine fix?
I don't know. But surely there's something I could
Like what?
I don't know. Maybe for whatever reason she never comes here. maybe maybe for some reason she never catches feelings for him. He said to me tonight that maybe he shouldn't have told me. I disagreed with him,
Sure.
obviously.
Yeah. Do you think that that might be stemming from his fear of how upset you are and his, desire not to upset you?
Maybe.
Okay. So let's talk about her not coming here. If that actually, I don't think there's a way you stop that because you didn't know until she was sent here, right? So, what? Do you have the ability to speak up and say, no, we don't take new prospects?
No.
Okay, so that's not an option. Uh, as far as her catching feelings, are you able to climb inside her mind and control what she thinks?
No.
Okay, so that's not an option. What we can do is control what you do. Um, in any way, do you have any control over Mason being her sponsor or how they interact?
No. Oh, he
Okay,
did ask me if he asked me that night if I wanted him to step down from being her sponsor, which I said no.
okay.
And I told
So,
him, like, that is something you need to decide for yourself. And realistically, we're not in a position where he could do that. It wouldn't be fair to Lane, it wouldn't be fair to Wade.
okay, so regardless of fairness to Lane or Wade, let's think about this. She's already got the feelings. What does him stepping down from being her sponsor actually accomplish?
Nothing.
Okay. Does it make her feelings go away?
No.
Okay. Does it make him feel any better about the situation?
No.
Okay. Does it make you actually feel any better about the situation?
No.
Okay. So, again, I think that question from him and asking you to make the decision is his fear being put on you. It's not your problem and it's not something for you to decide. So again, I kind of ask you, in a perfect world, what is it you'd like to see? Would you want her to leave?
No. Because she is a hell of an asset to the club.
Let me ask you this. What did she do last night and today?
Went on a date with Bobby.
Right. Um, I can't speak for somebody else. Um, but I know anytime I've had feelings for somebody, if I was looking to keep them as they were, I don't think I'd be out trying to date people or anything like that, right?
Mm.
So maybe she knows, she's kind of, I don't want to say in the wrong. Can't really control how you come up with feelings. But maybe she's trying to work through it on her own and fix it on her end too, you know?
Part of me feels awful for how I've thought of her. Because I've had a lot of not so nice thoughts about her, dude.
Okay.
There have
I
been
have a,
times where I see her and I just want to spit absolute venom in her direction. But I know that doesn't change anything. It doesn't change her feelings. It doesn't. It's not going to make me feel better. But it has been so hard not to let that part of me win out.
but guess what? It hasn't won out, V. You're still in control. You're doing everything right. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to be scared. It's okay for this to be a very, very complex thing. Because it is. And it's okay to not know how to handle it. You gotta stumble your way through it. But with that stumbling, you're gaining traction by communicating. You're gaining traction by asking for help. Gaining traction by leaning on your friends. Obviously, she's trying to do something that's, Bobby or whatever. All these things add up to stability and the ability to see that maybe the path forward isn't so uncertain and something to be afraid of. Maybe that last piece is having a conversation with her. Just being honest about your fears and, you know, that you do think that, she is an asset and that you don't think anything is going to happen, but that you're human. So is she. And that's why you realize that, as a human, people get feelings for the weirdest shit at the weirdest times. Uh, can't always control it. Maybe you don't have the conversation. That's something for you to talk to Mason about and feel out. And if it's important to you, you should. If it's something that you both feel is best just left between the two of you and you're honest with him about how you're feeling and that's enough, then maybe that's it. But it all comes down to the communication and letting yourself be in control, V. You're already like 3/4 of the way there. You're doing a wonderful job. And maybe it's all three of you that have the conversation, as awkward as fuck as that would be, but sometimes that's the necessary step.
It was different when it was Phoenix.
Is that because there was a clear wall between him and Club?
I think Phoenix. It was Mason was so happy to have him back in his life. And whatever this is has him just okay. And granted, there's stuff with Phoenix on top of it. Don't get me wrong.
I was gonna say, is it that or is it Phoenix again?
I think it's a combination.
Okay.
But like with this, right, with this Faraday, I think my issue is one, she's club. Two, it's like having a bucket of cold water dumped over my head. The Phoenix situation was unique and Mason and I never finished our conversation about Phoenix. All the way back then, after the kiss happened, where I told him we would figure it out together, and I didn't mean just the two of us.
Okay. Do you think that that is something you could have truly lived with?
I was asking my grandfather a lot of questions around that time. You know, Balto has a husband and a wife.
Right.
There is only one person in this world that I would ever, ever have considered sharing Mason with in that way.
Okay.
It was Phoenix. I have never told anybody that, Duke. Aside from Balto. No one else knows about that. That part of why I wanted to get to know Phoenix was to suss out, is that something that would have worked? I know better now.
I was gonna say, I think it's safe to say
No,
no.
no way in hell. But I think that's more his own doing than anything else.
The both as his fiance and as his old lady, do you feel that you have an obligation to share him for any reason? Like,
No.
okay, just making sure. I want to understand, just this thought process. That's all.
The man is mine, Duke. However, when Phoenix first came back, there was this look in his eye. Like, I don't know. Now Phoenix is just this representation of pain. And I just keep thinking to myself, it didn't have to be like that. It didn't have to fucking be like that, dude.
Or maybe it did. Sometimes things just actually turn out how they're supposed to. Sometimes leopards looking to eat faces are actually just leopards looking to eat faces. See? Nothing more, nothing less. Just like maybe in this case, you got somebody brand new to an area, thrust into a whole group of people that are about as tightly knit as you can get. She gets somebody at baseline that is charming and attractive in Mason. It's trying to make her feel included, valued, and he uses some kind words. And in a situation like that, develops feelings because that's what people do. And is now trying to correct that. Maybe she's just a lonely girl in a new place, V. Might just be as simple as that. I'm not one to normally ask about club business. I'm going to ask about this one thing only because it actually intimately involved me. Does she know about Rue?
Yes. Yeah, she does.
I think that more than anything should scare the hell out of her. Because if the story was accurately foretold, then there's no way she could think Mason or anybody else in this club would do anything even remotely as wild as what those two got up to. Am I wrong?
Well, Mason has said it time and time again that he hates everything about what that was. that it still makes him incredibly angry.
Do you believe that?
Yes. He does not like to let me hear him talk about Rue. He does not like to let me hear him talk about how he thinks that she was using me as a means to make sure that Lane would still have a vote if she stepped down to be her old lady.
So I think for the next minute or two, what I'd like you to do is just think about the things we talked about so far. Kind of go through the logical process, look at it objectively, tick the check boxes off, and kind of remove emotion from the whole thing. And objectively look and see where you think the math leads on this as far as what you should trust and what you think is actually going on. Um, I know what I see, um, but I'd be interested to hear where your answer shakes out after giving it an actual deep thought for a minute. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna shut up for a few, and when you reach a conclusion you're satisfied with, won't you let me know?
We're gonna unblack fires for a minute and kind of talk through Veronica's thought process right now. Number one, she brings up Phoenix because that whole mess still pisses her off. Um, as far as like that whole situation, in V's mind, uh, the only reason she would have even entertained that, um, is because like from where she was sitting, it seemed like a viable way, um, to let Mason navigate that particular unique hurdle. Um, and that particular unique situation. Um, it is literally the only time Veronica will ever make that kind of exception, even in her head. It is the only time. Um, but you guys know my thoughts on that from back then. As far as his situation, she's thinking through it. She's kind of like, objectively, Mason values his life. He values living. Um, Objectively, she trusts him to make the right decisions. She trusts him with her life. She trusts him wholeheartedly. And she hates that even for a second he might have thought that she didn't. Objectively, um, she does believe that Faraday cares more about the club than she does about having caught feelings. Um, Objectively, like, she wants to believe in her heart of hearts that this club means more to her than um, this crush. Um, because, like, deep down, right, V does like Faraday. you know, she thinks that she's funny. She thinks that, like, she brings a lot to the club. V sees her doing things without needing to be reminded, which is a big plus for V because it bothers V when she has to remind prospects to do basic things. Because she's like, I shouldn't have to remind you at this point to go do this shit. So, like, she sees Faraday just stepping up and doing that shit, and it's something that she appreciates. Like, objectively, V does not genuinely think that Faraday would do something to jeopardize her future in the club. Because he's like, she couldn't see Faraday being happy, being anything other than a full patch member. And so, like, now that Duke is having her kind of think, like, step by step about it, like, V is, like, kind of settling a little bit. Definitely something she's going to talk to Mason about tomorrow. Like, she had a therapy session and she talked through this all, because if she didn't, it was going to get worse. Because that's the other big thing, is this is the first time since Mason told her that she has talked about it. For the past few days, she has been just in a grit and bear it kind of headspace because Mason asked her not to tell anybody. Now, I know full well that Duke already knew. Right? I know. Oh, see, that Duke already knows this. Veronica doesn't. Actually, she might. Mason might have told her that Duke told. I don't know. I can't remember. Either way, V's in such a headspace that she wouldn't remember if Duke knew or not. Mostly because I can't remember if she knew. So, like, now that she's kind of sat and thought about it, she's definitely kind of, like, settled. That's not to say that she's not going to have those flares of jealousy, of, you know, emotion. Because there's part of her that's, like, just comparing herself to Faraday, which is not fair to herself, and it's not fair to Faraday. But V's not at the point of realizing that yet. Anyway. I think I'm ready.
Okay. Hit me with it.
I think objectively, Mason would not do something that puts his life in danger.
Fair.
I don't think he would do something that risks his place with this club. I don't think he would do something that jeopardizes our relationship. Objectively, I don't think Faraday would do anything to jeopardize her future with the club either. I think that she values her place with this club above any feelings that she might have. objectively, I think that she values her future with this club because I see day in and day out even like the small things that she does that usually I have to remind the other prospects to do. I don't even have to ask her. I'll wake up and she'll already be back with 10 combos for the fridge. She'll have already gone through and put up the tags around Chumash where, like, I know that Faraday hasn't been around yet if either of those things aren't done.
Okay. I've got one last question for you. Do you still think, or does that make you think, that it's not okay to still be upset a little bit, to have a little bit of fear, and to maybe act out now and then?
I think that makes me.
Think what?
I think it makes me human if I still have those feelings.
Okay, good. So everything I heard there was objective, realistic, and probably about as close to the truth as we're going to get. Do you feel better?
I feel more settled than I have since Mason told me.
And what do you think your next step should be?
I think tomorrow I want to talk to Mason. I think I do owe him an apology. Because, like, while I can't help what my brain does, I can't help, like, that aspect of it in the moment. I should have recognized or tried to recognize sooner, I think. I shouldn't have just bottled it up.
I'm going to half agree with you on that. In that, you know, yes, at some point you should realize what's going on. I'm going to disagree with you on timeline. I think you've come a very far way for it to be like 2-3 days old, especially something like this. To the point that I consider myself an overly rational person. When I was with Anaya, we were, well, she was allowed to see and date whoever she liked, and it didn't bother me one bit. Last night on the phone with Flynn, Lane made a remark, and maybe she needs to call up Benji and respark that relationship with him to find out what to do with Thermite. And I can admit, I saw red, and I just wanted to go shoot Benji. Should I do that? No. Do I know better? Yes. But even I, somebody that I like to think is pretty in control of his emotions and is about as even-keeled as you can get, is prone to feeling jealous and angry and a little unwanted in a time like that. Give yourself some credit, V. You're working wonders, truly.
Like I said, I'm scared of losing him, and I'm scared of losing him because I can't get a handle on whatever the fuck this is because I've been down that road before. Granted, that was a horrifically toxic and at times emotionally abusive relationship. Where I was made to feel guilty for even talking about my feelings. Where I was made to feel guilty for a lot of things.
Has Mason ever made you feel guilty about something in your personal lives?
No.
Okay. Has he ever done any of those toxic things in your personal lives?
To quote Mason, I'll be toxic if it gets results. So, no, he's never done anything like Josh did.
Fair. So, I know again, I'm appealing to a rationalized brain that doesn't always act rationally. Till he kind of steps out of line with any of that, gotta give him the benefit of the doubt, V. And I know you do, but you gotta really tuck that in there in the forefront so that when things get messy and, as you say, fucky wucky, you can latch onto that and, you know, at the end of the day, realize, you do got yourself a pretty good one.
Yeah. I'm gonna marry that man. I'm gonna marry the fuck out of that man, actually.
And I couldn't be happier for you.
I always feel awful when I say this. But he is better to me than any partner I've ever had. And I feel awful when I say that because, like, Harvey wasn't bad. But, like, there's just something about my relationship with Mason where we don't even have to talk, we just kind of get it. Where all one of either of us have to do is say one word and we can kind of clock where the other one's at. I asked him once, because we were talking about, like, family and how felt like Lane was all he had left. And I was like, well, hold on there, bucko. Where do I fall in there? And he said, well, I kind of see you as just an extension of myself. But I kind of sat with that for a bit. And I think that's probably the most accurate description. And that's something I've never had, Duke. I've never had someone just get me, like Mason does. It's one of those things of I could be crashed out in the middle of nowhere without him even knowing that, like, I am out and about or whatever, and he'll find me. He'll always find me. And likewise, I'll always go find him.
And I think with that, you've come around to the whole point of this talk, V. That despite this little, inconvenient, emotionally tumultuous problem that seems really big right now, y'all are going to be okay. Because you're going to find your way back to each other. Not that you're apart, you get what I'm saying. I think no matter what you choose to talk about tomorrow with him, and the way you decide you want to go with it, is going to be just fine. I think you've done a wonderful job of getting your head around this, just in this talk. And I'm very proud of you. Good job.
You know, I'm doing something for him I've never done for anyone before.
What's that?
I'm taking his last name.
Okay. Does that excite you, or is it something that you're had to be convinced on?
It was my idea. I started thinking about it before he even proposed of like, if we were to ever get married, is that what I would want to do? And like, it's not a big deal to some people, but it kind of is to me. Westfield might not be the last name I was born with, but it's mine. It is a symbol of the fact that I survived, of the fact that I got out, of the fact that even with a bunch of hiccups in the road, I have been thriving.
to take it as your middle name, Westfield, or are you just going to let it drift off into the ether?
I am going to let it drift off. Because it's almost like something I don't need anymore.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to look at it, V.
Because Veronica Westfield came here a scared, broken woman just trying to figure out who she was. Trying to figure out what freedom meant, what independence meant. And while she still has a lot of problems, she is not the scared woman that she was when she first set foot in Los Santos. Sure, I married Harvey. I technically double barreled our last names. Fucking Phoenix!
What now?
You might pretend to be all sweet and nice, but I know the truth. I swear to fucking God, if he has talked to Casey at all, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. That you just take what's not yours. And how do you hear that? Yes. Phoenix. It's not a fucking. He said, "You're marrying Mason, right?" I said, "Yes." He said, "There you go." He said, "Phoenix, he's not a fucking toy. He's a person. And stop playing with him and let him be."
V. You don't have to respond.
I'm leaving him on the red.
He's getting what he wants out of you. You don't owe him that.
Yeah, well, sooner than he realizes I'm going to be Veronica Calloway, so he can fucking suck it.
Yeah, he can.
Fucking hell, man.
Can always bury a body on this beach.
Can
Maybe
do.
not this one specifically. This one's important to me, but
I worry, like, about Mason when it comes to Phoenix, because I don't think Mason's ready to accept yet that Phoenix is intentionally messing with him because he's angry and upset that Mason isn't what he wants him to be. Like, I can see it because, like, I'm not Mason. I think anyone who's not Mason can see it. I think on some level he does realize it and acknowledge it, but, like, it's kind of hard for him.
Right.
But anyway, like I was saying, Veronica Westfield was the very scared woman trying to figure herself out. And gonna be so for real until I met Mason. I don't think I had that figured out.
Well, I
And
can go ahead.
in a way, I'm giving Mason something I've never given anyone else, you know?
Right.
Because I love him to the ends of this earth, to the ends of this universe. And the only way I intend to leave him is when I take my final breath. Because that is the only thing that will take me from him.
Well, I think you found your vows.
Sounds so, like, dark when I say that, though. Kind of morbid that literally the only thing that's going to take me from him is death itself. Norman fucking Bones will have to drag me kicking and screaming into that fucking lighthouse before I willingly leave Mason.
Well, you may say it's morbid. I say it's romantic.
Should I leave an invite to the wedding on the door of the lighthouse?
I hate for there to be like a red wedding.
Right, but like if I just like point him in Phoenix's direction.
Well, that's different.
Look, I have been atoning to Norman for a long time for things that I did. Surely he can toss me a bone and take out Phoenix and drag him to purgatory. Please and thank you.
Well, when you put it that way, I got a notebook and the lighthouse ain't far
What
away.
the
You take a
fuck,
ride?
Sauce? She's joking. God damn. What was that, Duke?
I said I got a notebook on me and the lighthouse ain't far away. If you want to take a ride.
No, I shouldn't. It's just an intrusive thought.
Yeah.
Sauce, you fucker.
That's why I was okay trying to enable it. I knew it didn't have legs.
No, I realize, Sauce. I realize. That's why she's not gonna fucking do it. Jesus.
I feel privileged to get to know the you that you consider the best UV. Like, I know we're familiar before, but it's been very nice getting to make a very good friend these last few months in what you consider the real you. So thank you.
Yeah. You've been there through a lot, Duke. Sauce, is that because I said that V wanted to invite Norman? Is that why we're upsetty? Is that why we're upsetty? I just want you to know, it was a joke. It was a joke. Chill, chill, chill. It was just a joke. It was just a J. It was just a J, man.
So
Okay. Okay. Jeez.
Well, you trusted me something pretty important to you tonight with this therapy session, yeah?
Yeah.
Can I trust you with something that truly stays between you and I?
Absolutely.
And I mean it, just you and I.
Okay.
About 200 yards ahead of us, on the 20th of September, Lane and I sat there and decided in front of the stars and the moon that we consider ourselves married. We ain't gone to no court. We made it official with no state. But between ourselves, yeah.
Oh. I wasn't expecting that. Oh. Does it make you guys happy?
Yeah.
I think that's what's important. I guess I will give you this forewarning. Not forewarning, but you keep this to yourself. I told Doll, but I'm also gonna tell you because like I trust you. I told Doll because likewise I trust her, and the three of us are in this together. You two might not wear a cut, but like I consider you both very important to like my support system, and like I hope that you guys think the same of me in terms of your relation to like the club and shit. Mason and I are getting married this weekend.
So that's what that's all about.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you, V. Like, over the moon.
Like, we probably would have done it sooner, but, like, I was out of town and then a bunch of stuff was happening, and we just kinda decided, like, we looked at each other earlier this week, and we're like, what about this weekend? And then we're like, yeah. Then we talked to Wade and we talked to Lane, and we were like, hey, come be our witnesses. Please and thank you.
Well, I think that's pretty perfect. Especially with kind of how you're feeling, V. So enjoy it. Like, really, really enjoy it, okay?
Yeah. Originally, Mason was like Vegas, and I was like, I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You're like, Michigan? No. I can't go back to Jersey because I'll get shot. Uh, then he was like, Kentucky? And then he was like, no. I was like, why the fuck Kentucky? What the fuck? And like, we just ran through the states and then we settled on Colorado. Baldo can never find out that it's Colorado.
Why?
Because Baldo lives in Colorado
Gotcha.
and doesn't know that we're eloping. So
Well, I haven't talked to Balto since before the collapse, so no worries there on my part.
she did.
Thank you for trusting me, V.
Yeah. Just sucks that when I get back, I can't just start like going by Veronica Calloway because we're kind of keeping it under wraps until like do like the big wedding.
No, but he can call you it, and you can call him your husband, and that's between you two. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if you have a big wedding or with everybody else. You've done it for each other, and that's all that matters. So be happy with that.
Yeah. He is well and truly my best friend. Oh, look, I really just I don't want to knock Randy or Harvey at all, right? But Mason has shown up for me in ways that they never did.
Sure.
I don't think Harvey would have sat with me before even officially calling me his girlfriend while I sat waiting to hand in my letter of resignation. I don't think he would have shown up to Senor Buns to stab a guy who hit me going, "Mock, god damn it," and put me in the hospital. Which, you know, violence isn't the answer, right? But like, it's kind of hot.
Right.
You know, I mean, Harvey would check on me after nightmares, but Mason literally sits up with me until I fall back to sleep.
So, I don't think you should feel bad about any of that, V. Um, we see all these stars here right now, right?
Yeah.
They're all suns for somewhere. They're very pretty. They're all nice to look at. But we need our sun. What shines the brightest, gives us what makes life. You know, you can enjoy those stars looking back at them, but Mason's your son. You know, you don't have to compare him. He's just who you need. That's okay. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah. I mean, when you suggested the patch thing, like, it's probably what I would get him. It's like a sign, not, you know, just to put somewhere on the sky. It's like, that is kind of how I see them.
Well, there you go.
God damn it, you two.
You all right?
Yeah.
You got quiet on me.
I am just so emotionally drained, Duke.
No worries. We'll get on the bike and head back to Chumash.
Yeah, I think it's about bedtime.
Okay, we can do that. Let's go.
That was a really good therapy session. I just got a DM that just said bro in all caps, and I think I know what it's about. That's a perfect song to play right now, though. Perfect song right now. It's gonna